Now, the Russian Defense Ministry has cautioned the U.S. military against targeting Syrian government forces in the war-torn country.
I remind the U.S. colleagues that the air defense of the Russian military bases near Homeimim and Tartus is covered by a range of Russia's S-300 and S-400 air defense missile systems, which cover a radius that may be a surprise to any country operating its aircraft over the country. It must be understood that Russian air defense missile crews will unlikely have time to clarify via the hotline the exact flight program of the missiles or the ownership of their carriers, and dilettante illusions about stealth planes could collide with disappointing realities.
A Defense Ministry spokesman Igor Konashenkov said any U.S. attacks on areas controlled by Syrian government could jeopardize the lives of Russian troops. Tensions have recently flared up between Moscow and Washington since the breakdown of Syria's ceasefire deal brokered by the two countries. And for more on the story, we're joined out of Los Angeles now by Mr. Stephen Kelley, former CIA NSA contractor. Hello, Mr. Kelley. Nice to have you back on Press TV. Now, Mr. Kelley, it seems like since that ceasefire deal broke down, things have consistently been heating up between these two powers. Your take on where this escalation is headed?
Well, I don't think we have any more time to waste, and I think it's important that anytime we talk about these issues, especially since this could start within days, we need to cut right to the chase, and we need to really talk about what's really going on here. This is not a fight between the USA and Russia. This is a fight between the Zionist powers and the world. The people in the United States that are going to launch this attack against the Syrian government in order to try to salvage their terrorists in ISIS, their ISIS terrorists in Aleppo, these people they're not doing this out of interest of the United States. This is clearly at the behest and orders of the Zionist regime in Israel. And unfortunately, the world focuses on the two main combatants, which of course will be the USA and Russia. But the reality is that the instigator and the entire source of this problem that's going to plague the entire world with nuclear war is located very close to Damascus, just a little bit over the border past the Golan Heights. And ultimately, I think the reality here is that this is not really about CIA personnel, Mossad personnel, ISIS personnel that will be destroyed in Aleppo within days. This is about what's going to happen after the fall of Aleppo, and I suspect that sooner or later it's going to be focused on the Golan, and this is where we should be focused. And we need to all remind ourselves constantly that none of this would be happening if it wasn't for the expansionist desires of the Zionist regime. And the very fact that we are now threatened with horrible annihilation and nuclear destruction should be time for all of us to sit back and look and see who is profiting and who is instigating this fight. And it is not between Obama, it is not between Putin. It is the Zionists against the entire world. This is genocide, and we really need to stop it as soon as possible.
And that's the thing. You mentioned stopping it as soon as possible. It seems like we're actually on the verge of a third world war. If the U.S. troops and Russian troops get pulled into the ground there, and there's no saying how far this thing can escalate, but why does it seem like every effort to try to rein this thing in has just failed up until now?
Because nobody wants to admit the truth. Everybody's pretending to go along with this charade that ISIS was not created by the United States. The United States is fighting ISIS, that it doesn't have anything to do with Israel, which is completely 100% has to do with Israel. And this desire to destroy Assad and destroy the country and pave the way for the expansion of Israel is the only reason they're doing this, and nothing short of that will satisfy these people, and everything they say is a lie. All of these fake peace agreements are nothing but wasting time to allow the ISIS to rearm. So Putin, unfortunately, probably should not have wasted time earlier. He should have finished his job as quick as possible. And I think as soon as these people in Aleppo that are these ISIS and CIA and Mossad individuals are eliminated, I think that this will be gone. The threat will be gone. And if there's some way that he could get this done before the United States could coordinate their attack, I think that needs to be done. But at this point, it looks like cruise missiles will be launched. Whether or not they will be shot down by SS-300s and 400s successfully remains to be seen. If they decide to use the B-1 stealth bombers to do this mission, we'll see. But obviously, They're going to probably try to take out the S-300s, S-400s with cruise missiles, and that would be the first step to any operation. And obviously, Russia will launch those missiles. And it's amazing they haven't done so sooner. But if you ask me, they should have been using them against the Israeli planes that have been bombing Damascus now for how many years?
Thank you, Mr. Stephen Kelley, for your input, sir. That was Mr. Stephen Kelley, former CIA and NSA contractor, joining us.